All my life, all I ever wanted to do is win a championship.
I actually don't know what that feeling's like to walk off the field Sunday and be a Super Bowl champion. Would I like to know what that felt like? Yeah, hell yeah, I'd love to know what that felt like.
Number 10, Terrell Owens. It's not hard to see why T.O. ended up on this list. A mercurial talent out of Chattanooga, Owens often put up gaudy numbers and had the personality to match.
I told you! They hate to love me!
The Hall of Famer boasts the third most receiving yards of all time with just under 16,000, and his 153 career touchdown catches are only behind Jerry Rice and Randy Moss. T.O.'s 9 1,000-yard receiving seasons are tied for third most in league history.
He's got it! 15, 10, 5! Touchdown! 49ers! Owens is behind the defense. He's gonna go!
Unfortunately for Owens, his teams went just 4-8 in the postseason when he was on the field. In 1998, amidst a dreadful performance against the Packers in the wild card round, Owens saved face by catching an iconic game-winning TD.
Three-man rush, and Young stumbles on the way back and fires up the middle. Pass is caught by Owens.
But the 49ers would only go as far as the NFC Championship during his tenure in the Bay Area. Owens flipped coasts in 2004 in search of a ring, but despite being close enough to taste it, the Eagles lost his only appearance in the big game. However, the moment wasn't too big for T.O. as he caught 9 balls for 122 yards, all after returning weeks early from a broken leg.
Owens, open space. Harrison chasing and out of bounds inside the 20. Second down and 8. McNabb fires the pass to Terrell Owens into the open field. Look out. Imagine what he'd be doing if he were healthy.
T.O. would get 2 more playoff chances when he joined the Cowboys, but Dallas went one and done on both occasions.
Stepping up. He's going to go to the end zone. It's going to be a jump ball in the end zone. Incomplete. End of game.
On fourth down. Clock running, intercepted. And I know Jerry Jones and the rest of this organization is absolutely sick.
Over Owens' 15-year NFL career, he played for 5 teams, recording 1,000-yard seasons for the 49ers, Eagles, and Cowboys. Owens earned 5 first-team All-Pro selections between 2000 and 2007 and led the league in receiving touchdowns on 3 occasions. Number 9, Anthony Munoz. Widely considered as the best offensive lineman to ever play the game, Anthony Munoz had the career of a lifetime.
He was so consistently proficient for his entire career. The day he retired, I didn't see any difference in the way he played offensive tackle.
From the beginning, it was apparent Munoz was gonna be great.
He was perfect. Absolutely perfect in the way he set up. He gave defensive ends no place to go. He devastated defensive ends in this league.
Living up to the hype after being picked 3rd overall in 1980, Munoz became a 9-time first-team All-Pro, tied for the most all-time by an offensive lineman. On top of being an elite blocker, he was a playmaker in the red zone, too.
Boomer running around to the right. Look, throws into the end zone to Anthony Munoz. Touchdown.
Munoz's 4 receiving touchdowns are tied for the most all-time by an offensive lineman. Unfortunately, the one accomplishment that always eluded him was a Super Bowl victory. Falling twice at the hands of Joe Montana's 49ers, Munoz gave all he had in Super Bowls 16 and 23.
He's thinking about it. Anderson is going to get in. You see that hole right there? He sees it and knows that he can get all the way to the goal line.
On 2nd and 4, James Brooks. First down.
Big hit over there by Munoz.
The 11-time Pro Bowler played 13 seasons totaling 185 games in which he started all but 1. He was a first-ballot Hall of Famer in 1998. Number 8, LaDainian Tomlinson. For the kids of the 21st century, this man was their LT. While LaDainian Tomlinson played a different position than Lawrence Taylor, he was equally as productive. But unlike Taylor, Tomlinson never captured a coveted Super Bowl title.
I can remember thinking that I was cursed or something. All my life, all I ever wanted to do was play football and win a championship.
Don't fret too much, LT. Not many players have accomplished your long list of accolades. For starters, Tomlinson's 2006 MVP season was one of the best in league history, rushing for over 1,800 yards and scoring a single-season record 31 touchdowns.
Skirts it outside, into the end zone. Charger fans are witnesses to history!
That season was San Diego's best chance at a Super Bowl, but it was shot down quickly by LT's biggest tormentor, the Patriots.
The best team that I had ever been on, first round bye, #1 seed, done.
Oddly enough, it was the following season that the Chargers made their deepest playoff run during Tomlinson's tenure, making it to the AFC Championship. LT fell again in another game against the Patriots, but this time a lingering injury forced him out of the game early.
At that point, I knew Michael Turner is a better running back than me right now with this knee injury that I have. And so I decided to pull myself, and of course I took a lot of heat for that.
In one of the better revenge stories, Tomlinson's Jets bested the heavily favored Patriots in Foxborough in 2010 during the twilight years of his career.
LT out of the backfield on 2nd and goal. Throw it to Tomlinson, and he is in for the touchdown.
But New York would fall to the Steelers in the AFC title game. The Hall of Famer is 7th on the NFL's all-time rushing list, and his record-setting season in 2006 helped power him to the 2nd spot on the all-time rushing TD list with 145. LT left a legacy on the game, one he could only summarize himself.
When LaDainian Tomlinson was in the NFL, he lit it up. He was definitely one of the best running backs of all time.
Kelly backing up, falls down, gets up, rolls right, looks, fakes once. Touchdown! Unbelievable!
Converted basketball player out of Kent State. He has become the most successful touchdown-catching tight end in NFL history.
10-3 Los Angeles, and here goes Earl Campbell. He knocks Robertson on his back.
Watch out! Beautiful, beautiful.
And one of the greatest in the history of the game is number 73, John Hannah. The celebrated guard employs cunning, quickness, and strength to either block opponents off their feet or simply bury them.
Largent with another circus catch to get the ball anywhere near him, and he hangs on to it. And that'll do it. A new NFL record for Steve Largent.
All I focus on is where the ball is. Before the snap, I have a good sense of where the ball is going to go. Anyone with the opposite jersey, you're definitely going to have to deal with Junior.
Culpepper to the end zone, throws to Carter, got it! Touchdown! That's number 1,000!
Come on! What?
The best running back in the National Football League.
I don't care what video game you're playing, you don't have a back like Adrian Peterson, the real deal. My goodness, he is something else.
And Dave Jones is in to drop him for a 17-yard loss.
You run at him, he'd stop you. You run away from him, he'd catch you from behind. You drop back to pass, he'd eat you alive.
Prettiest ball I've ever seen.
Look where this ball's thrown. It can't be any better.
Moon once again delivered the ball right on target.
Number 7, Tony Gonzalez. As the all-time leader among tight ends in receptions and receiving yards, Tony G was the ultimate weapon on the gridiron.
Back to throw over the middle. He wants Gonzalez. An incredible catch inside the 15. Around 3 Chargers trying to hang on to the ball.
Green to throw. He's got deep middle. He wants Gonzalez. And out bites the defender for the football.
But despite playing at a Hall of Fame level, Gonzalez's luck during the postseason typically ran out. In fact, he only won a single playoff game in 7 postseason appearances. During his career with the Chiefs, Kansas City went one and done in the playoffs on 3 occasions, with Gonzalez only mustering a postseason total of 106 yards and 2 TDs.
Needs at least one. Goes for something long. Tipped incomplete. And the Denver Broncos will advance.
Try to get it to their speediest open field runner. No, they're going to throw it up the middle, and
The game is over. The Colts with a remarkable offensive effort here in Kansas City.
Dropped. Gonzalez has dropped a couple today. Green's pass intercepted. Bethea out of bounds after picking off Trent Green.
A trade to Atlanta sparked new life in Gonzalez's postseason hopes. He would earn 3 more chances at a Lombardi Trophy, with his best coming in 2012 as his Falcons hosted the NFC Championship game.
Ryan looks, throws, batted away. Navarro Bowman with Roddy White right behind him.
I was devastated, literally devastated, and I was going to retire. In my mind, it's over. I'm going out losing in the NFC Championship game.
Although he never won a Super Bowl, Gonzalez still left his mark as a 6-time first-team All-Pro and 14-time Pro Bowler during his 17-year career. The 2004 league leader in receptions, ranks top 10 in NFL history with over 15,000 receiving yards and 111 TD catches, while his 1,300-plus receptions ranks 3rd. Number 6, Dick Butkus. If the words mean and tough was a person, it'd be Dick Butkus. Perhaps the most physical player in NFL history, the Bears linebacker earned respect through his career, but that sadly didn't translate to postseason success. Butkus brought brute force to Chicago's defense for 9 seasons as the original monster of the Midway.
In '69, I was traded to the Bears, and we won 1 game. We won 1 game, and he was named Defensive Player of the Year.
Yet, his teams never accomplished the ultimate goal during his pro football career.
Being a loser is no fun.
He's so dedicated. Like, why can't he be on a championship team just once before he's finished?
Every time I went to Rensselaer training camp, I thought we were going to win.
In fact, Butkus never even played in a postseason game. During his Bears tenure, Chicago lost far more than they won, but that didn't stop Butkus from achieving individual greatness. He forced 47 turnovers and owned a then record for fumble recoveries with 27. The 5-time first-team All-Pro and 8-time Pro Bowler is a legend in his own right, even if he doesn't have a ring to prove it. Number 5, Bruce Matthews. To fully understand the legacy of Bruce Matthews, let's start with a statistic. The longtime Oilers and Titans lineman played in 296 games over his mind-boggling 19-year Hall of Fame career. That's an NFL record among linemen and ranks top 15 all-time behind mostly kickers.
Ever gonna get sick of this game, man?
I don't want to have to really work.
In fact, Matthews played so long that his college teammate, Jeff Fisher, became his head coach at the end of his career. While Matthews' legacy is defined by longevity, his play was defined by versatility.
He could play every position on the offensive line. It made All-Pro at 2 of those different positions, and probably could have made All-Pro at all 3 if he wanted to.
The jack of all trades played with 6 Hall of Famers during his career, including running back Earl Campbell and quarterback Warren Moon. But with all that offensive firepower behind Matthews, his teams never won a Super Bowl. The Titans made 1 appearance in 1999, losing in heartbreaking fashion to the Rams.
It is caught by Dyson. Can he get in? No, he cannot.
Not to be lost in Matthews' postseason misfortunes was his dominance on the O-line, earning 7 first-team All-Pro appearances. His 14 Pro Bowls are an NFL record for offensive linemen and are tied for 2nd all-time.
With time, fires over the middle to Fitz, caught at the 45-50. Fitz is loose, 40, 30, goodbye! Cardinals lead! Touchdown! Larry Fitzgerald!
But it was Alan Page who really did it. Double H.
Number 88, Alan Page, was the first man to get to the ball carrier.
In my opinion, is one of the finest defensive tackles in football.
Regulators, mount up. We're coming.
Randall's picture is next to the word chaos in the dictionary. Guess who again? John Randall collapsing the pocket.
He's got it, and a brand new single-season rushing record for the outstanding star from Southern Methodist.
Picks it up, has a shot in the end zone. It's caught! It's caught! Jason Witten, how do you do?
Juice, they're hollering. 3rd and 12. They want him to carry it again. Okay, OJ running to the left, turns the corner at the 30. OJ at the 25, the 20. 10, the 5, touchdown, good play.
Playing a quarterback's eyes, the All-Pro in the Oilers secondary was Ken Houston, number 29, a lean, mean blade cutting down a ball carrier.
He's hit from behind, Derek Thomas.
Hustle and athletic ability and instinct all rolled into one.
Derek Thomas nailed Steve Young in the end zone for 2 points. Tim Brown, 1,000 catches, all in the silver and black One of the greatest Raiders of all time.
Dan Fouts, Cox is out. He's going to run. Now he throws. There's a man open. James Brooks, touchdown, San Diego with 59 seconds to play.
Number 4, Bruce Smith. From a Bruce on the offensive line to a Bruce on the defensive line, Bruce Smith was the ultimate terror. With his deep bag of pass-rushing moves and elite run-stuffing ability, there wasn't anybody like the sack man.
What is so amazing about Bruce Smith is how big he was and how athletic he was. Think of like LeBron James as a basketball player playing football and playing defensive end.
His grace on the field led him to become the all-time sack leader.
Palmer sacked for the 4th time, and Bruce Smith is in on the sack. He is now the NFL's all-time sack leader.
The sack man made a whopping 11 Pro Bowl appearances, but his 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards are the crown jewels of his NFL accomplishments. Yet with all that hardware, Smith still misses a Super Bowl ring from his trophy case. Smith suffered the ultimate misfortune when it came to the big game. From 1990 to 1993, his Buffalo Bills, equipped with up to 5 Hall of Famers including himself, lost 4 straight Super Bowls. Their first trip came against the Giants at the end of the 1990 season. 2 plays defined that Super Bowl, plays that Bills players and fans alike will think about for eternity.
He's going to throw, and they're after him. He falls down in the end zone, a safety. It was Bruce Smith on top of him.
He's got Hostetler's wrist. Jeff senses it, and look at him pull the ball into his chest.
If he would have fumbled that game might have been a blowout.
Snap, spot, in the air. It's got the distance. It is no good.
Second Super Bowl, James.
And even more tragically, that was the closest Buffalo would ever play a Super Bowl opponent, losing in blowout fashion the next 3 years.
The Redskins are the world champions.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. 30-13 Dallas. Buffalo, there are no words. At least we go home with another almost.
But at least Smith played in more Super Bowls than any other player on this list. His record 200 career sacks translated to 8 first-team All-Pro selections, and his 43 career forced fumbles ranks 8th all-time. Number 3, Randy Moss. Perhaps the most gifted athlete to grace an NFL field, Randy Moss was truly one of one.
Every field or court he's ever stepped on, he's been the best athlete.
As the ultimate deep threat, Moss owns the records for most receiving TDs in a season as a rookie and most in a season all-time. He was also the leading scorer on 2 of the highest scoring offenses in league history, the '98 Vikings and the '07 Patriots. As one of the NFL's biggest freaks of nature, there wasn't a ball he couldn't catch or a cornerback he couldn't beat.
I'm gonna come here and try to do the best I can to rip the NFL up, and my whole goal is to just come in and do whatever I can to wreck this whole league.
It's safe to say the 6-time Pro Bowler did just that. Moss's Hall of Fame career included an Offensive Rookie of the Year award and 4 first-team All-Pro nominations. His unparalleled greatness will never be questioned, even though he failed to win a Super Bowl. One of Moss's golden opportunities came during his rookie year in 1998. The 15-1 Vikings rolled past the Cardinals in the divisional round, but slipped up against Atlanta in overtime in the NFC Championship game. Moss did all he could, catching 6 passes for 75 yards and a TD.
Here's Cunningham again, going deep. Touchdown, he's in the end zone. Randy Moss.
Moss's Vikings made the postseason 3 more times before he departed, including another conference championship berth where they suffered a 41-0 shellacking to the Giants. He consistently showed up in the playoffs, though, recording 977 yards and 10 touchdowns in 15 postseason games. And in New England, the theme was no different. His second golden opportunity came during his record-breaking season in 2007 as the undefeated Patriots took on the Giants in Super Bowl 42. Of course, we all know how that one went.
Now throws it deep downfield, wide open Tyree, who makes the catch.
Steps up, shoots it long and deep. It is incomplete. The New York Giants have broken the Patriots' 18-game winning streak.
Unfortunately, Moss's 5 catches for 62 yards and a touchdown couldn't get it done. His efforts as a member of the 49ers 5 years later in Super Bowl 47 also weren't enough as San Francisco lost a nail-biter to the Ravens.
Lewis comes on a blitz. Kaepernick lob to the end zone. Incomplete. Ray Lewis and the defense deliver.
Of course, few players can say they've led the league in receiving touchdowns on 5 occasions. With 10 1,000-yard receiving seasons under his belt, Moss climbed to 4th all-time in yards with over 15,200. But Randy dominated even more when it came to catching touchdowns, owning the 2nd spot on the all-time list with 156. Number 2. Dan Marino.
There has to be a best quarterback to never win a Super Bowl. Is it cool that that's you, or does it suck that that's you?
It's not cool, no. I actually, don't know what that feeling's like to walk off the field Sunday and be, a Super Bowl champion.
Whether Dan Marino is first on your list of best players to never win a Super Bowl or not, there's no denying he deserved a ring.
If there's anyone that ever deserved a Super Bowl win, it was him. He'll go down as one of the greatest of all time.
People always think his legacy is diminished because he didn't win a Super Bowl. We didn't win a Super Bowl because of us, not because of Dan Marino.
In Marino's only Super Bowl appearance in 1984, his Miami Dolphins fell at the hands of the mighty San Francisco 49ers. In what was a much-anticipated matchup between Marino and Joe Montana, it was the 49ers defense that made life difficult for Marino on that day, accounting for 2 interceptions.
Came to see an offense and the wrong one showed up.
They're coming after him. He's going to have to eat it, and that's it. The 49ers trounce the Dolphins.
Marino threw for over 1,000 yards and 8 TDs that postseason, the most successful playoff run of his career. And that year was more memorable than any other, despite not winning the game that counted the most. In Marino's MVP campaign, he rewrote the record books numerous times, including becoming the first 5,000-yard passer in NFL history. His 48 touchdowns that year also stood as the most all-time for 20 seasons.
Would I like to know what that felt like? Yeah, hell yeah, I'd love to know what that felt like, but it didn't happen.
Marino's Dolphins would make the AFC Championship game 2 more times in his career, losing by double digits on both occasions. But 1994 provided them with another shot at a title. Marino put together a 2-game stretch in which he threw for a combined 519 yards, 5 TDs, and no interceptions. But Miami lost a 22-21 crusher against the Chargers in the divisional round, who ended up advancing to the Super Bowl.
It's tough to see one of the greatest, first of all, not play anymore, but 2, leave without getting what he ultimately yearned for, which was a world championship.
But his 8-10 postseason record only tells part of the story. Marino accomplished plenty en route to a Hall of Fame career, and his clutch playmaking abilities were why he went down in history as one of the best to do it.
I believe Marino is saying, I'm going to spike it.
Marino takes the snap from center. He's looking. He throws. Touchdown, Dolphins!
A flame burns inside that man, Dan Marino.
Marino was a 5-time passing yards leader and 3-time passing TDs leader. And as a 3-time first-team All-Pro, he sits 8th in league history with over 61,000 passing yards and 7th in TD passes with 420.
When you talk about 1965 NFL rookies, here's a man you can't forget. He's Gale Sayers of the Chicago Bears, a runner extraordinary.
Amazing, J.J. Watt.
What else can he do? And Watt blasts him with a TFL.
Everybody knows he's coming, and they can't stop him.
They beat me to death. I mean, they bloodied me. And I said, I got to do something. I've got to change how this position is played, or we're not going to win the game.
There's a champ in the building. And that's always playing with fire. When you launch one in the direction of number 24, a complete corner.
And here comes Urlacher, and down he goes.
Brian Urlacher, who has just been nothing but sensational, throws up the middle of the field. Intercepted. It's picked up by Brian Urlacher.
I can't believe that they couldn't bring down Thurman Thomas.
Thomas, what a catch!
Thurman Thomas says this is his play. One of the very best running backs in football.
The entire history of football, if you're going to vote for the best defensive tackle ever, you've got to consider Merlin Olsen as the guy.
They'll throw. Winslow. There he is, and it is a touchdown to Winslow. Great catch. Fouts, pump fakes, throws, touchdown, Kellen Winslow.
Strength, speed, size.
I'll tell you, folks, I have never in my lifetime seen a receiver with more God-given ability than Calvin Johnson.
Number 1, Barry Sanders. The number 1 player on our list isn't even his dad's favorite running back. Perhaps that's where Barry Sanders got his humility from.
Now I want to introduce you to the third best running back that ever lived, Barry Sanders.
If you make an amazing run, score a touchdown of 80 yards, you make 8 people miss on one play, do you really need to spike the ball?
Sanders rushed for over 1,000 yards in each of his 10 seasons in the NFL and won the 1997 league co-MVP, becoming only the 3rd player to rush for 2,000 yards in a season.
Barry is like an unbelievable artist, like Charlie Parker. He play a line, nobody can play something like that. With that type of Henri Matisse, just something in his brush, you don't know what it is. It stupefies you.
Take a good look. 30, 40 years from now, that people are going to be asking, did you ever see Barry Sanders play?
A truly remarkable runner, Sanders racked up every accolade you could imagine. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, First Team All-Pro, and so on. But the one thing missing from his collection, a Super Bowl ring. Sanders' Detroit Lions made 5 playoff appearances in his 10-year career. During that stretch, they could only win 1 postseason game, a 1991 divisional round matchup against the Cowboys.
Got it away to Barry off the right. Barry to the 45, and bumps to the 40, breaks it, 35, 30, he's gone! Unbelievable! Touchdown, Lions, Barry Sanders. Oh my gosh, what a run!
2 years later, Sanders rushed for 169 yards in a close wild-card loss to the Packers, the last of his vintage playoff performances, as the next 3 postseason appearances were lackluster.
They're going to run a draw to Barry Sanders to the left, nothing there. Tackled for a loss.
For Barry Sanders, that is his lowest rushing total ever.
Like every other player on this list, despite never hoisting a Lombardi, Sanders accomplished more than anyone could imagine.
This guy did something special, every single Sunday.
The 4-time rushing yards champion ranks 2nd all-time in rushing yards per game with 99.8 and 4th on the career rushing list with over 15,200 yards. Sanders holds NFL records for most seasons with 1,500 rushing yards and for most consecutive games running for 100 yards with 14. His 25 games with 150-plus rushing yards are also an NFL record.
When God created Barry Sanders, even he didn't know what he made.